What I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught, everything your friends told you after the breakup, everything you read online while trying to get her back. Everything you felt was the right thing to do. It's all wrong. She will come back 100%. Act like this and she can't stay away. But only if you're willing to unlearn everything that's kept you stuck. If you're tired of wondering why she's gone, why she isn't reaching out. Comment, I'm done chasing. Number 1, stop chasing her. You sit there staring at your phone like it's the only thing that connects you to hope, refreshing the app again and again, thinking maybe she'll text back this time, maybe she'll unblock you, maybe her silence means she's thinking about you. But deep down you know that every second you spend hoping is a second you rob from yourself, and you try to convince yourself that checking on her isn't chasing. But it is, because chasing doesn't always look like running after her. Sometimes it looks like staying frozen in a memory of who she used to be while life keeps moving without you. It looks like stalking her online, replaying conversations, overanalyzing the last text she sent you, dissecting why she said it the way she did, crafting the perfect response you'll never send, making up fantasy conversations in your head that never happened, imagining her coming back crying, begging for forgiveness. And this loop, this mental prison you live in, is what's keeping you from being free. Because you don't want her back, not really. What you want back is the version of you that felt loved when she was around. You're not chasing her. You're chasing the feeling she used to give you, and that's the most dangerous kind of chase. The one where you forget who you were before she walked into your life, and every time you feel tempted to reach out, it's not because you love her. It's because you can't handle the silence she left behind, because the silence reminds you that you were emotionally dependent, and you call it love to make it sound noble. But what you really want is validation, and validation that comes at the cost of your self-respect is just self-sabotage. You're not broken because she left. You're broken because you handed her the keys to your identity, and when she walked out, she took everything with her. And now you feel empty because you filled your worth with someone who didn't know what to do with it. And this hurts, but it's also the beginning of your return, because only when you lose yourself completely do you realize how far you've fallen. And if you're reading this right now, I want you to understand that healing starts when you stop giving your energy to a person who no longer sees your value. You have to reclaim your time, reclaim your focus, reclaim your mind, because every second you give to her memory is a second you don't give to your future. And no, this isn't about pretending you don't care. That's not power. Pretending is a performance, and performances require an audience, and she's not watching anymore. And if she is, it's not because she wants you back. It's because she wants to know she still has control over your emotions, and every time you react, you confirm she does. Stop handing her that power. You think by staying loyal to the idea of her, you're being noble, but what you're actually doing is staying loyal to a version of you that didn't know any better. You're not protecting love. You're preserving pain. And the moment you realize that is the moment you wake up. And I know you're afraid to move on because moving on means accepting that she might never come back. But what you don't realize is that when you finally let her go completely, that's when you open the door to someone better, or better yet, to the person you were meant to become before you lost yourself trying to keep someone else. And don't fall for the lie that if you stop caring, she'll think you never cared. No, if she really loved you, she'll feel the difference between a man who's pretending to move on and a man who truly has. And nothing scares someone more than seeing the person they left become stronger without them. Because now, they don't know if they could ever fit back into this upgraded version of your life, and maybe they don't deserve to. And it's okay to admit that you loved her. It's okay to admit that it hurt, but it's not okay to stay stuck. You owe yourself more than that. Stop waiting for closure. Stop waiting for her to explain why she changed. Stop hoping she'll realize what she lost, and realize this instead. She doesn't hold the keys to your future. She was a chapter, not the whole story, and you've got more pages to write, better ones where you're not begging for love but building a life so beautiful it speaks for itself. Start today. Write down everything you stopped doing for yourself when she came into your life. Now do one of those things again. Tomorrow do two. Rebuild your world brick by brick, and don't look back to see if she notices. She might. But by then, you'll be so focused on who you're becoming that you won't even care. You'll stop chasing her, not because someone told you to, but because the man you're becoming simply has better things to do, and if she comes back, let it be because she had. To rise to your level, not because you fell back down to meet hers, because the version of her that left you cannot walk into the version of you that's rising now. So let her go, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity, because when you stop chasing what no longer fits, you make space for what finally will, and that's how you win, not by getting her back, but by never needing her again. If that spoke to something deep inside you, then the Stoic relationship blueprint was written exactly for you. This isn't just a book, it's a direct path to emotional freedom, forged in timeless Stoic wisdom that you can start applying today. And it's now available as an audiobook. You can listen while walking, running, driving, even during your gym sessions. This knowledge doesn't expire, it doesn't fade, and it won't disappear like people do. Once it's yours forever. Imagine carrying a blueprint for inner strength and clarity in your pocket, ready anytime you feel lost, tempted to reach out, or unsure of what to do next. The link is waiting in the comments. Number 2. Detach from the outcome. Attachment poisons clarity and turns love into obsession, robs peace from the present moment, and replaces it with anxious waiting, creates illusions that breed suffering, and as long as everything is done with the hidden intention of winning someone back, the self remains imprisoned by the outcome. Decisions become performance instead of principle. Healing turns into manipulation masked as growth, and this is the silent trap so many fall into. Going to the gym not to rebuild strength, but to be seen again, posting progress just for her to notice, pretending to move on while secretly waiting for a message, while every move is calculated not to grow, but to signal that growth is happening, and this defeats the entire purpose, because energy doesn't lie, and desperation always finds a way to leak through the cracks, no matter how controlled the appearance is, no matter how curated the social media becomes, because the eyes give it away, the tone gives it away. The silence feels loud when it's just a tool to get a reaction, and not a reflection of true peace. But once action becomes rooted in the self rather than the response it generates, everything changes. There's no longer pressure to be validated by a reply or a text or attention, because wholeness is no longer hanging on the pendulum swing of someone else's approval. And that's what true freedom is. Living in such a way that nothing external is required to confirm worth, and the outcome loses its grip, not because it doesn't matter, but because inner alignment matters more. No more waking up wondering if today is the day she remembers. No more rearranging entire schedules because a message came in. No more placing life on pause in hopes of pressing play with her again. Because the truth is this: if she needs to come back, she will, and if she doesn't, then she wasn't aligned with the version of life being built now. And that is not a loss, that is a filter, and clarity is a gift, not a punishment. But as long as energy is still tied to outcome, pain persists, because every action holds hidden expectation, and disappointment grows from every unfulfilled hope. But when that cord is cut, the future opens wide, and suddenly each moment becomes about becoming, not proving, not signaling, not baiting, just becoming for the sake of truth, for the sake of living aligned with value instead of validation. and there's power in that. The kind that draws people without force, inspires without intention, influences without demand, because it's authentic, and real always resonates louder than loudness, and silence from a centered soul carries more gravity than words said from anxiety. So the path forward becomes clear. Detach not as a tactic, but as a truth, not as manipulation, but as evolution, and let actions be born from conviction, not calculation. Let every step be one that would be taken even if she never returned, especially if she never returned, because only then can peace be real, and people can feel the difference between someone who needs them and someone who chooses them without needing. And the second category always wins respect, always invites curiosity, always carries a weight of presence that lingers, even in absence, and most never reach this level because they're too focused on controlling what they cannot, too afraid to let go of a future they never really had. But nothing is more magnetic than someone who finds their own way back home, not bitter, not trying to be seen, not throwing subliminals, but simply living so powerfully in alignment that the one who left starts questioning whether leaving was a mistake. And when that moment comes, and it will, the response must still come from peace, not panic, from clarity, not craving, because by then the outcome has already died, and a new outcome has taken its place. Sovereignty, stillness, direction, depth, all forged in the fire of detachment. And this is the paradox no one talks about. Only when the outcome no longer matters do the things once chased begin to chase back. Not because of tricks, not because of withdrawal tactics, but because peace is rare and people want to be near what calms their chaos, what stands unmoved in the face of rejection, what speaks through presence without ever speaking a word. And now that clarity has been earned, never again let attachment rob the present. Never again let the past dictate the pace of growth. Never again let what once was hold more power than what can be. Because detachment is not giving up, it's growing up. It's standing firm in what is true and letting everything not aligned with it fall away without needing to grasp. Because what stays, stays freely. And what leaves, leaves with a lesson, not with your power. Number 3, rebuild your core. No person can walk into a life and become the entire foundation of another without consequence, because when everything begins to revolve around one human being, purpose fades, identity blurs, and the center collapses the moment that person walks away. And that's exactly what's happened. The focus shifted from personal discipline to emotional dependency, from internal purpose to external validation, from self-directed ambition to reactive living, and the result is now clear. Anxiety, confusion, fatigue, constant searching for signals that she might still care, and underneath it all is this void, the emptiness left behind when everything meaningful was outsourced to another soul who never signed up to carry that weight. And what comes next is not about revenge, not about becoming something for her to see. It's about becoming someone who would never again need someone like her to feel whole. Not because connection isn't beautiful, but because real connection can't exist where one person becomes the entire source of meaning. And this isn't just about regaining strength. It's about remembering what used to light the fire before someone came along and distracted from the mission. It's about waking up and realizing the time spent waiting, wondering, obsessing, could have already been used to transform into something completely different, completely independent, someone who doesn't crumble just because attention is withdrawn, because strength is not found in pretending not to care. It's found in showing up daily for the version of life that would feel worth living with or without anyone beside it. So now it begins with one step, not 1,000, not a fantasy, one decision today that realigns the path. And that might mean waking up earlier, not for a grand display of discipline, but to take back the first moment of the day for the self. Not the phone, not the updates, but the self. It might mean walking back into the gym not to sculpt a body for admiration, but to reclaim movement, to regain command over the body that once sat slouched on the couch, replaying old memories like they were going to come alive again. And next it becomes about the vision, not a vague idea of success, but a clear direction. What does life look like when built without her? Not bitterly, not cynically, but fully, entirely, from the roots upward. Who are the people that once brought joy and laughter? Not distraction, but truth. Who are the mentors and voices that once stirred something noble inside? And what happened to the hobbies, the passions, the long-forgotten interests that made time disappear? Those things were not just filler. They were clues to who you were before dependency entered. And they must return because no man can survive on emotion alone. Direction is needed. Order is needed. Rituals that anchor and reset the mind are needed. And this isn't about grinding endlessly for some aesthetic lifestyle. It's about creating internal order so that chaos from others no longer becomes the compass. Because she left, and the pieces she took were never supposed to be hers to begin with. They were borrowed under the illusion that love required surrender of identity, and now those pieces must be reassembled with intentionality. And the truth is, she may come back. But when she does, if nothing has changed inside, the same cycle repeats because the problem was never her leaving. It was being built in such a way that she was the only structure holding it all up. And now the structure must be replaced with values, discipline, purpose and clarity, which means saying no more often, which means cutting off anything that pulls you back into that reactive place and replacing it with what steadies you, what challenges you internally instead of emotionally. And that might look like books instead of browsing, journaling instead of venting, lifting instead of languishing, setting non-negotiables instead of boundaries based on moods. And this requires self-respect at a level not taught, because self-respect isn't just words, it's the refusal to act out of weakness. It's choosing silence over arguments, calm over chaos, direction over drama, and it becomes the filter through which every next step is taken. And slowly, day by day, things begin to shift. Not because some grand result arrives, but because internally the foundation hardens, the roots deepen, and that center, once shattered, is replaced with something real, something no one can ever take away again. Not because love won't be felt again, but because that love will no longer be allowed to replace purpose. And that's what real transformation is. Building a life not for show, not for Instagram, not for her friends to notice and report back to her, but because anything less would be a betrayal to the pain. That started all of this. Because if the heartbreak doesn't produce growth, then it was wasted. And if the confusion doesn't lead to clarity, then it was for nothing. And that can't be accepted, because now is the time to rise, not with noise, but with depth, not with gimmicks, but with decisions. And those decisions are made alone, not because it's easy, but because no one else is coming to save the day. No apology will rewind the pain. No reunion will replace what has to be rebuilt from within. And once that's accepted fully, things begin to accelerate, because there's nothing more powerful than a person who no longer fears the silence, who no longer needs outside noise to feel okay, who no longer waits for someone to come back just to feel seen, because that person becomes undeniable, not just to others, but to themselves. Number 4, become emotionally unreachable. Reaction is the currency of the emotionally controlled, and once patterns become readable, outcomes become predictable, and once predictable, easily manipulated, and it begins subtly. A comment here, a delayed reply there, an intentional silence just long enough to make the mind spin. And those who are led by emotion will always fall for it. Overthinking replaces clarity, attachment overrides boundaries, and before long, control shifts completely. But the transformation begins when reaction is no longer given freely, when energy is no longer a door. Someone else gets to walk through without knocking because access should be earned, not assumed. And this is where most fail, because they confuse emotional presence with emotional exposure. They confuse vulnerability with volatility. They believe that showing care means having no walls, but real strength does not mean oversharing, over-explaining, or over-proving. Real strength is when the internal compass stays still, regardless of external push, when the mood of another does not hijack decisions, when silence is not feared but embraced as a testing ground for patience, clarity, and resolve. And to become emotionally unreachable is not to become cold, it's to become unshakable, not because emotions are suppressed, but because they are mastered, expressed only when necessary, held with intention, never leaking in search of validation. And in the space where others expect emotional chaos, calm becomes the unexpected response. And it's in that calm that control is regained, not over others, but over the self. And this is the foundation of presence, of power, of being someone others must adjust to, rather than someone constantly adjusting. Because emotional reachability is often used as a weapon by those who sense dependence, who know the right words to say, the right buttons to push, and it only works if the buttons still exist. So the work now is to remove the buttons entirely, not by avoiding situations, but by facing them until their grip weakens, until what once triggered now informs, until what once dictated reactions now only reveals truths. And the truth is that people who need to provoke emotions are rarely at peace with their own. They stir the waters to see who will flinch, and the one who doesn't becomes their puzzle, their unsolvable equation. And that mystery becomes the attraction, because it signals something they cannot find elsewhere: peace that cannot be purchased, a calm that cannot be faked, an indifference that isn't bitter but grounded. And this presence is built in solitude, not through external approval, and it is tested in moments of tension, moments where the old self would have spiraled, responded, chased, explained, and now that version must die, because if emotion remains reactive, then control remains external. And this is the journey inward, to where space is created before speaking, where clarity comes before confrontation, where no one else's behavior dictates your values. And this might mean walking away mid-sentence. It might mean choosing silence over justification. It might mean letting someone believe what they want without defending your truth, because your truth no longer requires external agreement to be valid. And this is where detachment deepens, not in distance but in discipline, in the refusal to break character just because someone else is throwing a tantrum. And when this becomes natural, emotional reachability disappears, because now there is a filter. And through that filter, nothing manipulative survives. No bait is taken, no passive aggression is rewarded, no guilt is entertained, and the result is internal peace, not from isolation but from order. And that order is the standard now, the new baseline, and everything that tries to pull you from it must now rise to meet it, or be left behind, not out of ego, but out of self-respect. And anyone who finds offense in that has revealed their intention: to control, not to connect, because real connection respects boundaries, honors space, doesn't demand a reaction to prove affection. And once this standard is set, everything changes, because now others feel the weight of your presence even more in your restraint than in your responses. And the lesson becomes clear. You don't need to speak to be felt. You don't need to react to be powerful. And you don't need to prove to be valuable. And this changes the game, because now others must earn clarity, must respect effort, must come correct or not come at all. And that's the point, because only when you become emotionally unreachable do the emotionally manipulative become irrelevant. And the moment that shift happens, everything else begins to align, not by accident, but by design. Number 5, let her come to you. Initiation from someone who once walked away must never be met with celebration, but with inspection. because returning does not equal change, and interest does not mean intention, and contact alone is not a sign of respect. It is often a test to see if your center still wobbles under the weight of her attention. And most fail this test because they've been waiting, hoping, craving that moment to show her how much they've grown, how much they've healed, how ready they are to love again. But growth that needs to be witnessed is performance, not transformation. And if the goal of your progress is to be seen by the one who left, then it was never about you. It was always about her, and she will sense that she will feel the hunger in your reply, the emotional debt you still carry, the unfinished business you call closure, and that energy confirms what she suspected all along, that you changed just enough to try again, not enough to walk away fully. And it starts with the first message, because the words you use reveal whether your confidence is real or borrowed, whether your peace is built or borrowed, whether your purpose is driven by clarity or obsession. And the tragedy is that many do not even make it to that message. Because they reach out first, they fold during the silence, they text during the loneliness, they speak just to escape the discomfort of being forgotten, and all of that desperation bleeds through no matter how clever the words are. And so she wins, not because she's better, but because she holds emotional leverage over someone who gave it away too cheaply. And this is where everything must shift, because letting her come to you is not about playing hard to get. It's about becoming someone who is not moved by every signal she sends. It's about realizing that silence is not rejection, it's space, and what you fill that space with determines whether you evolve or repeat. Because if the space is filled with daydreams and fantasies and endless analysis of her last post, then nothing has changed, and if she returns, you will break again, and if she doesn't, you will collapse. But if the space is filled with purpose, with pursuit, with personal order, then whether she comes back or not becomes irrelevant, and that is what draws her in the shift from needing to choosing, the shift from pursuit to presence. Because when she can no longer sense your energy chasing her, when she sees your focus no longer orbiting her world, when her name no longer lives in your mouth or in your eyes or in your timeline, that absence becomes louder than any message, and curiosity follows, not because she regrets, but because she can no longer place you, and people always want to understand what they can't control. And if and when she reaches out, that is not a reward, it is a moment, and moments mean nothing if not met with mastery, and mastery means no overreaction, no emotional dumping, no confessing, no referencing the past, no opening old doors, just calm, clear, concise responses that show you are whole with or without her, that your peace is not on the table, that your access is limited, that your value is now protected. And in that space, she will reveal her true intent, and if it is shallow, you will see it, and if it is rooted in guilt or nostalgia or loneliness, you will not move, because you are no longer an option, you are a decision, and you do not negotiate your self-respect for closure, for comfort, or for the illusion of love. And this does not mean closing your heart, it means elevating your standards, because access to you is no longer free, and her return must be weighed against your new values, your new pace, your new peace. And if she aligns, great, and if not, even better, because clarity saves time, and once you know how to live without her, once you learn to breathe again, to laugh again, to create again, to walk through your life without reaching for a phone that no longer rings, then no return can shake you, because the fear is gone. And when fear is gone, control is gone. And when control is gone, respect can enter. And this is what changes the entire dynamic, because now she sees that you no longer need her to feel seen or heard or understood. And this doesn't just make you attractive, it makes you sovereign. And sovereignty is rare, and rare is remembered, and remembered is missed, and missed is pursued. And if she pursues, it must not be to rescue your heart. It must be to match your path and walk beside, not above, not in front, not behind, and if she can't accept that, then she is not meant for who you are becoming, and who you are becoming will not beg, will not shrink, will not compromise, because you let her go, not as a tactic, but as a truth. And she came back, not to complete you, but because you no longer made her your completion. And that's how you reclaim power, not by running after what left, but by building. So, intentionally, that even what left wants to return, and what returns is met not with celebration, but with discernment. They told you to move on, to stay quiet, to wait for closure, but what they never told you is that closure is a trap, and waiting is how you waste your prime. Society feeds you silence when what you need is clarity, and that's exactly why the Stoic relationship blueprint exists. For the man who's tired of chasing, tired of begging, tired of feeling lost every time someone leaves. This isn't just a book. It's the exact framework built on timeless Stoic principles that rips the blindfold off and gives you back your power immediately. And now, you don't even have to sit down to read it. It's available as an audiobook so you can absorb this truth while walking, running, lifting. It's linked in the comments, and once you have it, it's yours for life. If you're ready to own your peace and rewrite your story, comment "I choose strength" below, like this video, and hit subscribe so more men can find this truth before it's too late.